Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston from Our Blooming Catholic Life, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Secular Franciscans and the Liturgy of the Hours. If you're not a Secular Franciscan, don't worry. This really applies to a lot of us, lay people, religious. Everyone should be praying the Liturgy of the Hours. What is it? How do we pray it? What are your options? This is going to be just a little dive into the topic. Now, some of these books I already have videos on, some I don't. This was a special request for someone just starting their Secular Franciscan journey who was just kind of confused with the options. So I'm going to try and do this as an overview and come out with some more in-depth videos as we get into the topic. I'm going to jump in right away with something easy. What is this? Because you're going to see this on the rule. What is this little guy? This is a tau. This is actually our habit. See how there's 3 knots in the cord? And I've talked about this before. The tau was the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. You know, so when God said the least of these are the least. And you can see it kind of looks like a friar wearing his habit. If you made this his little head, right? It's kind of like a friar wearing his habit. St. Francis adopted this after, I believe it was the 4th Lateran Council, and this was their symbol. St. Francis fell in love with it. He already had the Friars Minor, and this was the least of the alphabet letters. And so he adopted this and used this to sign his name. It is currently the habit of the Secular Franciscan orders. You can't normally see mine, but I am wearing it in most of my videos. It just dangles a little bit further down than the camera shows. This particular one is handcrafted by the husband of one of my Franciscan sisters. So Jean-Louis Stadelman does that, and you can only buy that at the Shrine of St. Anthony or Friar Shop online. So they run, I don't have the bracelet there, sorry, I can't tell you, but he did handcraft that. My particular one was in white oak, but he does use a variety of wools. And so now we see, woods. Now you see the symbol on here. This is called the Little Red Book. This is the Rule of the Secular Franciscan, also called the Rule of 1978 or the Pauline Rule, which may confuse you because when you open it up, it says the 2017 edition. Of course, it had to be translated into English. And so this is, the original copyright was 1997. And this edition is the 2017 edition. I can't honestly tell you what was different because I didn't come in until just several years ago. And so you can see there's a couple extra little features there in the book. We jump into the rule. Here is, see, that's why it's called the Pauline Rule. It was approved and confirmed by Pope Paul VI. And then we have the letter of the 4 ministers general of the Franciscan family. That is the Friars Minor, the Friars Minor Conventional, Friars Minor Capuchins, and the TORs, the Third Order Regulars. And then we had our Minister General of the Secular Franciscan Order, which used to be called SFO, but because of Latin, we're going in Latin order now, so it's OFS. Then we have a prologue, which is literally from the exhortation of St. Francis to the brothers and sisters of penance. Now, where we're going to get why we say the Liturgy of the Hours is rule number 8, and it happens to be right in the middle of our little book. As Jesus was the true worshiper of the Father, so let prayer and contemplation be the soul of all they are and do. Let them participate in the sacramental life of the Church, above all the Eucharist. Let them join in liturgical prayer in one of the forms proposed by the Church, reliving the mysteries of the life of Christ. And it's that last sentence where we get our devotion to the Liturgy of the Hours. Let them join in liturgical prayer in one of the forms proposed by the Church, reliving the mysteries of the life of Christ. Now, when we say liturgical prayer, there are 3 main forms of liturgical prayer, folks. The Liturgy of the Word, which is the first half of the Mass where we do the scripture readings, right? The second half of the Mass is the Liturgy of the Eucharist. And what continues throughout the day is the Liturgy of the Hours. And so many priests and religious are called to pray this throughout the day. It's where the Bible tells us to pray unceasingly. This is where we get it. And most Secular Franciscans, we only are required, though, to pick 2 hours. Most people pick morning and evening prayer. They are considered the hinges, right? The hinges. You start your day and you end your day. Now, personally, my greatest love is of the office of readings and the night prayer. Those are my 2 favorite hours, but I do pray evening prayer with a group on Zoom right now. But if you're a morning and evening prayer person, or you could say these, it's for 2 times a day, any 2 times that you do this. I'm going to link this in the description below. And it is the Franciscan vocation petitions that you can add to the Liturgy of the Hours. And there are 2 for each day of the week. You can see this here. They are lovely. And you can start to see there's something odd going on here with this dash. We'll get to the dash in a bit. Okay, what do we have as our options? We have, I'd say 3. It's technically 3 main options here. The Little Office of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This one is my copy of the Office of the Passion of St. Francis of Assisi. The main Liturgy of the Hours, and that can be either the 4-volume. You see I have a ton of books here because some are in covers and some aren't. So you can either have the 4-volume, or the 1-volume. And the 1-volume is actually called Christian Prayer. There is another option in the back of a lot of your Liturgy of the Hours books. Let's see here, the 4-volume. I can't speak to Christian prayer because I gave mine away once I got my 4-volume. Let's go to the table of contents. Is it in here? See, I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. 1875. We have the Office for the Dead back in 1875. And I know I talked about this one quite some time ago. It is a lovely, lovely prayer. Can we jump back to it? This is one that is very uncommon for people to use, but it is so lovely. Let's see, we should almost be there. Office for the Dead. Note that you adapt your prayer in gender and number according to your circumstances as you pray them. You might miss that note if you flip through. And it has the Office for the Dead. It starts out with the Office of Readings. This is literally, it used to be when people would have the corpse sit in their home before the burial. And so people could pray this nonstop for the dead. So this is a lovely prayer, especially during the time of the pandemic. You can see there's a daytime prayer. There is an evening prayer. Oops, I flipped a little too fast there. And it only goes until evening, it looks like. It doesn't look like there's a night prayer. And that's probably because you were sitting nonstop. You would probably go back to the office of the reading there. And you would just continually cycle through these as you were sitting with the dead. So this is an option, friends. It is an option. It does have office right there in the title, Office for the Dead. This is an option for you. It is beautiful, especially if you are sitting at the bedside of someone who really needs this, or if someone in your family has just died. That is a lovely option. This is in my volume 3, but I do believe all of them have it in it. So we're going to come back to those books in a minute. Let's look at the Little Office of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now, there are different editions of this, just like how our rule got rewritten in 1978. We have a new rule. These are updated as well as the main Liturgy of the Hours books. People just making the translations better, or they said it was too hard. They were too lengthy before, and so they did get shortened at one point. So there are different editions. This one was done in 1988. Let's see here. Is there? That is the copyright, so 1988. So this is the 1988 edition. I know there is an older one. I just found out that John Bradburn was actually, servant of God, John Bradburn, actually prayed the 1961 edition. So I'm dying to get a hold of that one. I already was. I have books that help you go more deeply into that. So I've already been interested in that, and now I have a real reason to go and find it. So let's look here. There is a forward and introduction. You can do them. You have me, though. So this book is super handy. You can see how little it is. We're going to do it in comparison to the Office of the Passion of St. Francis, or one of the volumes of the 4-volume. You can see this is even smaller, I think a little bit smaller than the Christian prayer book. And most of these come in either large or regular size print. I have regular print. So let's see, we're going to start off with Sunday in morning prayer. Okay. And you can see it doesn't have the music listed out, but I've written in like what the tune is, what tunes fit these words. I've now learned when it says melody and it gives it to you here, you can go to Breviary Tunes. It's an app, and look up that little melody and it will play it for you so that you can remember what it is. And you have options. This is why this book is difficult to say in common. I don't know what the older editions were like, but it's hymn 1 or hymn 2, right? Antiphon 1, or you could do this one. The Psalms are all the same, but everything else is this or this, right? Otherwise, it's the same format as the Liturgy of the Hours, but this one is especially to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Look, we have 3 options here for our first reading. Yikes, right? Second reading, again, multiple options. If you're saying this in a group, you may choose like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, we're going to do option 1, right? You could figure that out, work out a system to do it, but just picking up the books, you're not going to have an easy time with this. And you can see it still has the Canticles Zechariah, just like you're going to find in the 4-volume or Christian Prayer. So the canticles are the same, the prayers and things are different. They're reflecting on Jesus's life through the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now this also has an evening prayer. It's going to have a morning and evening prayer for each day. Again, it follows the format of the main Liturgy of the Hours, but the focus is on getting closer to Jesus through Mary. Now, if we go to the back more of the book, we are going to find, if you want more than morning and evening prayer, they're going to be very repetitive, but there is an office of the readings back here. I think that there is only one though, so you don't have options every day. There's daytime prayer, and you do have mid-morning, midday, mid-afternoon, just like you do in the main Liturgy of the Hours, except that they're shorter, right? There's not for every day of the week. It's just one format. Night prayer, which night prayer is a pretty standardized one to start with. So there's just the one to choose from, except there are antiphons of the Blessed Virgin Mary for special ones for Advent, for Lent, for Easter. So you do have that little variation back here. Then you have a little prayer for Thanksgiving for Mary's Fiat. And there's a bunch of Marian prayers here. These are all in English. There's no Latin in this book. I am looking to getting a new edition that's just out by EWTN, and I'll review that as soon as I get that. So that's the little office of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This is an awesome book to get you started, even with all those ors. I know I talked about or can be confusing, but if you're doing it by yourself, this is small, it's inexpensive, it can go everywhere with you to help you get into the habit of morning and evening prayer, and you're going to get used to the rhythm and the format of the book. So this is a lovely choice, again, and it's just by day of the week. There's no hard decision making. If you don't know what I mean, you will soon. Okay, another great option is the Office of the Passion of St. Francis of Assisi. Now, this is a particular version done by Tau Publishing, but you can find this on many popular apps, especially iBreviary has it, because that's done by the Franciscan Friars of the Holy Land. So they have it in there, so it's free on their app to pray, as well as you can find it in an e-book format. It's usually free or just $1 or $2, and that's scans of a very old book that they have in there. So this is going to tell you, though, this is a recent edition. It is beyond lovely, but it's a little bit different than the other ones. St. Francis, he liked to do that, what we called about expanding prayer. I think we have videos on that as well as an entire video going through this book. But how St. Francis did it was he prayed the office 7 times a day. And so there's a system. See, these are charts. So you're going to look up your season, and Lent is actually in the last row, but the word's way over here. You might not notice it at first. So you're going to look up the row that is the season and come across and down your column to find your hour of the day. Okay? And this is all explained over here in the book. Don't worry. It's in the introduction. It's going to tell you. Now, most of us are going to start not even with 3 times a day. We might start with the twice a day. And the M and the E are just morning and evening prayer. So same thing. We're going to come across. And here we are. We have our day of the week. If we want morning, we're going to start with 1. Now today I'm filming this and it's Wednesday, so I would start with 5. And you can use your ribbons however you want here. I think this one, that's in the middle of 7. We want 5. And you're going to see, friends, how easy this is. The little office with Psalm 5. And its focus is about being on the cross. We're going to start out with the Our Father. Now, you know how, though it has ... we're going to say it out, the entire thing. Same thing with the Glory Be. We say the entire prayer. This set is called the Praises to be Said at All Hours. See that little red dash? Sometimes they're red, sometimes they're not, but most often those dashes are red. That's letting you know that's a response. So normally this would be 2 people or 2 different sides of a room, the left and the right side of the room. And then there is a prayer. I love how these prayers are centered, because like this one almost makes the shape of a cross, and that happens very often. Here's an antiphon. I don't know why this prayer isn't listed out separately from the antiphon. So it's an antiphon here, prayer here, and then the glory be again. And then we're going to go into Psalm 5. It doesn't say Psalm 5 there, but it told us that in the beginning of the chapter. Okay. And it keeps going on. This is just little notes for you. Normally when it's in italics, not always, but normally when it's in italics, it's just notes for you. You don't read them out loud. Again, antiphon, prayer, glory be, and here's our blessing dismissal. So this is the leader and the response. I don't know why they switched to V and R here when it wasn't earlier, but that's the way it is. And that's most of this book. Now this particular edition also has options for doing it in recto tono chant, as well as there is, I think, and then for 3 voices, this one has a commentary so that you can go more deeply into it. And I thought I feel like there's more hardcore oh yes, so there is more music. There's simple chant, but also chant for 3 voices, piano or guitar. So you have a lot of options here, and this is for all of the psalms that are here. I believe this text, and you'll have to go back and watch the video on this, was kind of written by Murray Bodo and worked on by the musician and tested out by nuns to make sure that it was singable and made sense to them completely. So this is a lovely option. Again, the music and all is just in this edition by Tau Publishing. They are a great publishing house. If you are a Franciscan, definitely give them a check out. But this is a nice, easy option as well. Again, it's a small book. You can throw it anywhere. This was a special edition that they had with leather cover. And now we have Liturgy of the Hours, the 4 volume. Again, I don't have the Christian prayer book right here. The Christian prayer book is a 1 volume. It's definitely bigger in size. I want to say maybe closer to this one. It does not have, don't quote me, but I don't think it has the Office of Readings or night prayer in it. I think that's why it's a smaller book. But it's kind of funny, the readings are longer in it. And it's going to have slightly different psalm prayers sometimes than are in the Form 4 volume. Christian prayer also as well has the music for the hymns written out, the current edition does. So some people really like it because they like having the music. Whereas, where is today's book? These are both the current book we're in. Book 3. And you can see it's brown here. I've got a little brown tassel. Oh, no, this is not our current book. This is the last one. I have this zipper. Oh, you can't quite see. I have this zipper pull on here. And I will tell you, this has made a world difference. This is one of the Tiny Saints zipper pulls. It works much better than the original zipper pull. So let's get in here. You will notice that they are different colors. The color tells you the season. And if you're a Franciscan, you're going to want to grab the proper office of Franciscan Saints and Blesseds. And it's literally an insert with Franciscan Saints and Blesseds. It's like the back of the book is. It just goes by date, and it's some extra things for various saints who aren't included in the main calendar. These are Franciscan Saints and Blesseds, and it will tell you whether they're first order, second order, or third order. So where's our current volume? The things vary a little bit between the different seasons, and that should make sense. Things we do in church vary among the seasons. This must be, yep, this is the guy we're in right now. We're in volume 2, Lent and Easter. Ta-da! We have a couple little books to help us out. They are all, I'm not going to find it. They're all St. Joseph's Guide, but one includes the Franciscan, sorry friends, I don't see it right this second. There's an edition of this that is for Franciscans. The difference is it's going to tell us some bold page numbers, and that's going to tell us to jump into this book when it gives us a bold page number. It's really the only difference. This is probably the most common guide used. And what it does is literally you look up your date, say April 25th. It says Wednesday is the Annunciation of the Lord. It's a solemnity. All prayer is going to start on page 1738. We're going to do the Te Deum, daytime prayer, and the Psalms are going to be on 1651. Night prayer is going to start on 1628. It isn't always what we call a straight shot. That's for another video, but some of them are pretty easy to find. Again, we normally use this. Yes, I got this at the Shrine of St. Anthony. This was $3. You have to renew that every year. Some people for the liturgy hours like using the app because then they don't have to worry about looking things up. The apps are going to tell you that. There's a number of apps. That's a whole nother video. Blue ribbon for me, I move it day by day. And so this is Wednesday's Office of Readings. This is where we're going to be tonight. But we're also going to be, see how it starts at the readings? Oh wait, it's not on evening prayer yet. When I jump in with my evening prayer group, it would be set here, and it starts with reading, responses, Canticle Mary, intercessions. Right here's the Our Father, and a prayer to end. This is the one I move day by day. I also move my yellow ribbon like the sun. See, Wednesday, week 1. Ta-da! Starts with Office of Readings, and it's going to move throughout the day, and I will move my ribbon. My green ribbon, I have on what's called the Ordinary. The Ordinary is where you're going to want to start. If you have not started with this book, you're going to need to read the Ordinary. It is just teaching you the rhythm and the flow for this office, okay? Getting you used to what the prayer is, what you say when. Not everything is written out all the time. So like the Magnificat is in here. It's also in this little card insert they give you. I know this isn't making sense in the video. It will when you watch it. Trust me, okay? It will when you grab a book and start doing it. This is going to make sense. Come back and refer to it once you have a book to look at. Like I have, there's a couple of these guys that I have several of because when I got my set of cases, it was actually cheaper to buy an entire new 4-volume set than it was to buy the 2 volumes that I was missing. And so I have 2 spare books as well. And you may have a friend with a spare book that can loan you or give to you so that you can try it out. So you're going to want to read the Ordinary so you know the flow of it. Now look here before the Lord's Prayer. We have a number of options. They're not going to be in every day. You're just going to have to know these. So before we say the Lord's Prayer, you could say, now let us offer together the prayer our Lord Jesus taught us. Or now let us pray as Christ the Lord has taught us. With longing for the coming of God's kingdom, let us offer our prayer to the Father. See, there's options, but unlike this one, they're not in the main text. They'll only tell you that in the Ordinary. And that's going to make sense when you actually walk through this. Okay, my red ribbon I use to mark. See, I go through my month day by day. There's not a saint for every day, but the saints are in the back. And so I keep something there. I also keep an extra little prayer card in here because it may tell us to refer to another page at some point. Like it might be St. Polycarp, not all of it's here. It may say like, go to the Common of Pastors. This is going to make sense, friends. But it'll give you a page number and then we're going to come back like this is the Common of Apostles. So when I'm doing an apostle, which we did recently, we were back here for the chair of Peter. And so I marked my second spot with this prayer card. So I like to keep a prayer card in here with my ribbon, as well as this happens to be St. Francis of Assisi's prayer before the crucifix. Always a good prayer to start a Franciscan meeting or reading of the Liturgy of the Hours. Friends, that was just an overview of the Liturgy of the Hours, a super small, quick, easy, dirty little one. You're going to have questions. You're going to want me to clarify points. Please put them in the comments below and I will get to them as soon as possible. I can always make a new video to clarify it even more. This is really just an overview. I hope and pray though that this answered most of your questions. God bless you, friends. Bye.